Welcome to lesson 3 of the Mum Bod Core Foundations course. I'm quite excited to get you stuck into the lesson where we're talking all about how to balance your pelvic floor strength, integrity and tone. Your pelvic floor is a pretty cool set of muscles. Now, I'm sure you've heard everyone bang on about your pelvic floor throughout pregnancy, and there's a good reason for it. Not only do the pelvic floor muscles play an essential role in continence and vaginal wall support, but also helps to modulate intra-abdominal pressure and stiffness of the sacroiliac joints, contributes to controlling the lumbar spine and pelvis, and it contributes to both postural and respiratory functions. Your pelvic floor had to handle a vast amount of pressure from your growing baby. Even if you had a C-section, your pelvic floor may still have increased strain. Now, healthy pelvic floor muscles experience a constant low-level tension and are linked to your transverse abdominal muscles. This normal resting tension allows the pelvic floor and deep abdominals to work together and help you maintain proper lower back and hip positioning to support the spine and pelvis. It also helps prevent urinary leakage by enabling your pelvic floor muscles to anticipate any pressure increases such as sneezing or picking up your baby. It's important to retrain your pelvic floor muscles to respond appropriately to the grade of activity that you're performing. In other words, the tension in your pelvic floor will accurately match the intensity of the task you are completing. For example, your pelvic floor will maintain a low tension at rest. On the opposite end of the scale, when you're squatting a heavy weight like a barbell, your pelvic floor will contract with more intensity during the movement's concentric portion of the lift. We also want your pelvic floor muscles to be able to relax. Tight muscles don't always mean strong muscles. It is possible to have a tight but weak pelvic floor too. I'm sure you have heard a little bit about Kegels. If you haven't, they're basically just a pelvic floor exercise. But they are an excellent way to connect and re-educate your pelvic floor muscles after giving birth. But I feel they're often done wrong, so let me take you through the 3 steps of doing a Kegel. We start by squeezing the pelvic floor muscles, then lifting the pelvic floor muscles, then fully relaxing the pelvic floor muscles. I think the 3rd step is often forgotten. As I mentioned before, it's essential to be able to relax your pelvic floor muscles. A tight, overactive pelvic floor also comes with issues such as leaking when sneezing, jumping or heavy lifting, SI joint pain or hip pain or lower back pain, difficulty starting to pee, etc. It can take a little while to figure it out, so try these cues and see if any resonate with you. Imagine lifting a pearl with your vagina and anus. Imagine pulling a tissue out of a box with your vagina and anus. Try to draw your clitoris towards your vagina. Now to put it all into practice, here's how to learn and practice a Kegel. Okay, so let me take you through how to Kegel. Now, I want you to have a nice firm chair, so I'm not talking about your squishy sofa, a nice firm chair that you can sit on because I want to get some feedback from the seat. Now, you're going to sit yourself down and you're just going to pull the flesh away from your bum cheeks a little bit so we can get those sit bones right on the chair. Check your rib cage, is it arching out? Because we want to bring that down and stack it neatly over your hips. So we've got our diaphragm stacked over our pelvic floor here. Now, talking of our pelvic floor, let's imagine it's like a diamond. So the front of the diamond is your pubic bone. The back of the diamond is your sacrum, or your tailbone at the back. Then you've got your left hip and your right hip. And we're going to picture this shape. So we're going to be thinking of squeezing when we draw all the corners of that diamond together and then lifting. And then when we relax, we're going to think about all those corners opening out and relaxing down. Now, we're going to incorporate our breathing. So as we inhale, pelvic floor relaxes. When we exhale, pelvic floor lifts up. Inhale, we relax. Exhale, we lift up and squeeze up. Okay, now pop one hand on your lower abdominals, one hand on your rib cage. You want to see these hands move as well. So we're getting that breath all the way down into our pelvic floor and exhale, drawing everything in. Okay, so join me for 2 good breaths. We're going to do a deep inhale. Let those hands open out. Long exhale. Deep breath in. And exhale. So you should be able to feel with your bum on the seat, your pelvic floor, a bit of feedback there, lifting away from the seat and relaxing back down into the seat. So that's kind of good for feedback. If that's uncomfortable, then go for it, sit on a cushion and just focus on the breaths. But it's just great to get that feedback from the chair. Okay, I'm going to take you through it once again and a few other tips. So I'm going to try and talk and breathe at the same time, which a bit difficult to do, but do your best to follow along. So again, sitting up tall, checking our position, making sure we're not arching or slumping. We want that nice rib cage stacked over hips position. Your inhale, where we relax the pelvic floor. Let's go. And long breath out. Lift that pelvic floor up. Going again, you're going to inhale. And exhale. Draw it up and lift up. So we don't want to see any shoulders moving. We do want to see those abs relaxing, so don't worry about that. Let it relax out and let everything draw up and lift. Now I want you to make sure you're not squeezing your bum cheeks here, so I don't want to be seeing any sort of squeezing back here. This should stay relaxed. We should be focusing on that pelvic floor and your anus, your bum hole. We should be feeling that lifting up as well and fully relaxing. Abs should be going as well. Inhale and exhale, lift up. Now, something else I want to just make you aware of is don't feel like you've got to force that relaxation. So don't feel like you're pushing anything out. If you feel like you're pushing against your pelvic floor, just be aware you're probably going a little bit too far. So it's a nice relaxation, get to the bottom, and then we draw up and lift up. Now, you can practice this every day if you're postpartum. Just nice and easy, get that full relaxation, full contraction. And if you don't feel it right away, that's fine. Keep practicing. If you're still struggling, then I definitely recommend you see a pelvic health physio or get a mummy MOT booked in, because they can do a little internal, they can help you out, so they can really work out what the issue is and just help you out with getting those Kegels going. Now, I hope you enjoyed this 3rd lesson, talking about the pelvic floor and getting you started with practicing your Kegel exercises. Don't forget you've got that ebook you can download as well. That's yours to keep. And obviously it's got some nice little pictures in there, which I'm quite enjoyed putting together for you. Don't forget you can contact me. All my information is on my website, which is www.themumbodpt.com.